The whole story up to the divorce update. All right. So, as best as I can tell, things started going wrong in July of 2020. June was fantastic. We had gone on a mini vacation with our kid and his buddy. They hung out with us. We had a fantastic time, and that was excellent. When July rolled around, we were experiencing problems. Spats over trivial matters, her lack of interest in intimacy, my interest in her day, but her lack of interest in me, extended periods in the bathroom, as well as baths. All this is how July goes. August becomes more tense, and she even tries to pretend as though everything is okay. She shows me lingerie and tells me it's for my birthday. When my birthday arrives, she gets me a couple of albums but nothing else. I had a rough day at work, she reportedly had as well, and we simply ended up cooking and hanging together. I assume because it's a work day, anything. She offers but does not seem to be present. We eventually had a couple large disagreements in September, and after one of them, she begged for some alone time. I thought this was suspicious, and I was devastated because I feared our marriage was dissolving. I was correct. I grabbed the dogs and went to spend the night with my brother and family. I returned home in the afternoon the next day. She had mentioned she wanted to go out with her friends before I arrived, and I never prevented her from doing so. I arrived home at 12 p.m. She arrived home at 6 p.m. I saw her and told her how delighted I was to see her. She mumbled something. The month had been horrible, and that week had been particularly bad. She's not kissing me, she's unpleasant, snarky, and downright cruel. I'm requesting that she speak with me and tell me what's going on. I realize something isn't quite right, and I want us to be all right. An acquaintance, now a dear friend, notices me at work and expresses worry. I tell him how much I love my wife. We've been dating for 8.5 years and married for 1.5 years, and how I'm at a loss for what to do. He suggested marital therapy and said he'd gone through something similar. Suggest I obtain the 5 love languages, plus another that I can't think of right now. I began researching right away. I realized that I had been prioritizing my job, run my own company with my brother, since we've been overloaded since COVID and business has been growing, but I never stopped trying to love or be personal in discussions and physically with her. She's ill today. I go home, and I take care of her. The following morning, while she's getting ready, I ask her gently and respectfully if we might chat for a few minutes before she departs. I tell her everything I learned from the book. I read the whole thing the night before, and how I felt I had been inattentive, how much I loved her, and how we should go to marital therapy to try to heal what we have since we love one another and have our kid. Something I said must have sparked something in her because she burst into tears and started repeating that I would loathe her. After I told her to simply be honest with me, she acknowledged that she had cheated on me the previous weekend when she stated she was going to see her friends. I was taken aback, but I loved my wife, my marriage, and my kid, so I pretended to be a fool and told her that everything was all right, that I could forgive her, but she had to be absolutely honest about everything. She then remained silent. No names, no details, only that she'd been chatting to AP since July and had been having an emotional affair with him until that day in September. How am I supposed to trust her? I don't think so. I tell her that she has made a mockery of our marriage and our vows. This happened on a Thursday. I attempt to talk to her that night, but she refuses and offers little information. She claims she never promised to speak about it, but she told AP she had informed me about it. It's the same thing every Friday. I'm dry heaving, haven't slept, and feel miserable, furious, and wrecked on the inside. Eventually, Saturday arrives, and my brother, knowing how much of a disaster I am, encourages me to remain at home and deal with whatever is going on. She gets up and goes to the gym while I'm a disaster. I phone my father, who was the cheater in their marriage, but my mother and him worked it out and have been married for 38 years, and ask for his advice. He tells me it wasn't a mistake, that she understood precisely what she was doing, that she has to make a decision, and that if she doesn't, it tells you all you need to know. I gather myself because I am a wreck. I tidy the home and make certain that my kid is well cared for. Then I head down to our apartment gym and tell her she has to come down and speak to me when she's finished. Half an hour later, she appears, and I gently inform her that she must choose between our family and marriage or AP. I'm not sure is all I get, and she begs for some time. I accept on the condition that she does not contact or see him. She accepts and goes for a 2-hour run. I can track her whereabouts using an app. She returns, finally discovers that I have cleaned the place, and when I ask her what she wants, she says, I don't know. When I push, she says it's over. I say all right, and even though I'm weeping, I take a duffel bag and stuff it with clothes, and she's screaming because I'm truly going. I kiss my kid, tell him I'm going to remain with his uncles for a little while, and he's okay since he's occupied by video games. I tell her I'll be back in the morning with the rest of my belongings and leave. The following morning, I arrive there at 6 a.m. I take trash bags and go into our bedroom, into the bathroom/closet, and begin stuffing everything that belongs to me into them. She sits up in bed, crying, and simply stares at me. When she asked what I was doing, I informed her that she had made her choice and she began weeping. My heart is shattered, but it also longs for my wife. Again, I crawl into bed with her, embrace her, and kiss her for half an hour like a foo. I tell her that it doesn't have to be this way, but she needs to be honest. Silence. So I'm enraged and shout at her that it's all for nothing. I pack my belongings and inform her that my father and brother are 5 minutes away at the cafe, waiting for my call to come and assist me with the heavier items. It's 11 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I'd already packed everything. She inquires as to what we intend to tell our kid. We go wake him up and make up a phony story about communication failing. She says she doesn't want to see my family. I don't blame her. She's embarrassed. She brings our kid shopping, and I can sense he's a bit out of sorts and bewildered. I summon my father and brother, who arrive. We gather my 3 televisions and all of the equipment I had purchased to make our home smart, of course. I left my kid all of his wonderful things. I love him, and none of this is his fault. And, before I leave, she texts me not to go and to wait for her and our son. I wait. The establishment seems to have been looted. Then she steps in. She advises me not to go. Also, our son threw a display over in rage and says he hopes we could still be a family. I make a bad face at her and tell her that of course he does, and that's what I want. But what the heck does she want? I'll say it again. I'm not sure. I claim there's no reason for me to remain. I force her to inform her parents since they would be outraged if they found out via our son. The first week of October is coming up, and I'm trying to keep our youngster on track. I show up for him to take him to school and cook him breakfast, but I also take him to his grandparents' place on certain mornings when I have to be at work early. When they ask what's going on, I tell them everything. I tell them I want us to solve things, but she insists on her stupid I don't know. Since we've grown to love and respect one another, her father is upset and sad for me. She's messaging me about how much she despises herself and how she can't believe she did all of this, while still chatting to AP. Even goes so far as to ask if we may reconcile, and I remind her that she knows what she must do if she wants me back. During that week, I picked up my kid from practice and drove him home. He wants to show me something, and I agree since I adore him, and we spend an hour in his room together. When I go to the living room, she's a mess. She invites me to sit with her and draws near to me, wrapping her arms around me. I nearly give in and get up, saying that I'm not going to do this if she's still talking to or involved with this man. She claims she's finished, so I sit down and cuddle her. We even kissed briefly, and I touched her, but suddenly the phone rings a different ring, and I can see she's scared on the inside. He's been phoning her all day, she claims, since she terminated it. I look her in the eyes and ask her to show me where she put a stop to it. She begins to weep and refuses. I reminded her once again that if she wants me, she knows what she needs to do. Throughout the week, I return to take my kid to school and even prepare meals for him to keep in the fridge. She's not washing laundry, and I have to push myself not to do it for her. But my son's bedding are dirty, he stinks from not bathing, and I had to admonish her for not taking care of him. Her friends wanted to take her to the Ren Fair that weekend, and I'm amazed at how well she's doing. She asks if I may be with our kid for a few hours. I say yes because I want to spend time with him, but even I know I'm not ready. In any case, I agree. When I get home from work to fetch him up from his friend's house, 4 other lads step out and hop in my vehicle. It was apparently a sleepover. I'm enraged. She was looking at him, not him at her. I call her, she answers, and she understands I'm going to leave if she doesn't return my call. It takes her 3 hours to return, and she's irritated about it. She has the audacity to argue that she shouldn't have to feel terrible about spending her birthday with her friends, and I tell her that she should because of all that is going on, that she took advantage of the situation, and that it would never happen again. She asks, am I just meant to be a mother? I don't even respond to that, but you picked this before I ever entered the picture. We continue to converse, and she even offers me to stay, be together, and sleep on the same bed. I say no and walk away. My son seemed to be depressed. I keep going to and from, despite the fact that it's exhausting both my emotions and my money account since I'm now staying 4 to 5 minutes away. Her parents only know what I've told them since she avoids them as well. It's the week of October 25th, my ex's birthday, and it's been strange, and I'm embarrassingly performing the Choose Me dance. It's Monday, and I'm sending nice video messages to her, and she's unconcerned about it all. I go in the morning to take care of our kid, take him to school, and then I do what I do throughout her birthday week, which is to start with a tiny present and work my way up. I pull out a snapshot of the three of us in a pumpkin patch from when we first met. It's a lovely photo. I'm ready to go when I feel an itch within me. I'm not sure what triggered me, but I began probing. I discovered a new shoebox and opened it to discover a new vibrator, and I threw all of our toys out when I left. She even saved the package, and the postmarks were dated the day after I left, and they even had a gift message with the name on them. Then I saw a note inside the shoebox from a lady, but with the same surname as AP previous present message. When I open it, I see a snapshot of a family. There are 2 little boys, a baby, a dog, and a man and a lady. Along with it is a letter in which I inform my ex that she has damaged her marriage and that she can keep AP because of the gifts he brought her. I snapped photographs and went directly to her parents to tell them what I had seen. Her father offered me the same advice that you all did. I'll hire a lawyer, get my ducks in a row, and then file. That same day I did. When the papers came a few days later, I delivered it to her, and we sat on it for months. Soccer games, a few romantic evenings, though I wouldn't dare to have with her, even if it was available. It eventually came down to one soccer game when she saw I wasn't quite at my best, and I pressed her until she informed me whether she was dating, which she replied she was. That week, I completed all of the papers. I feel we've made up ground.